Hi, I'm Jason and welcome to my workshop. It's summer here in the Midwest, as evidenced by the first white legs of winter here. And my wife's been after me to build a couple of wooden planters for the back patio. Now, softwood lumber prices right now are frigging bananas. But my local home center has a bargain area out back where they get returns of special orders. And I was able to pick up some Western red cedar for about 60% off retail, which is still really high, probably higher than it would have been a year ago, but I'll take what I can get. So I've got some 2x12 rough sawn Western red cedar. I've also got a 4x6 that is not in the best shape, but I think I can get the legs that I need for the planters and the slats from these. So I'm ready to get started. These planters will be pretty small, roughly 16 inches high, and not quite sure what the width will be yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and rough cut some pieces to length a little bit longer than I think I'll need. I don't really have a plan for this project. Sometimes it's just fun to wing it, so that's what I'm doing here. So that 4x6, I think I'm gonna make the legs out of. So I'm gonna have 4 legs for each planter, and these are still pretty big. I think I'm gonna get these close to 2x2. 2 inches by 2 inches. And then what I think I want to do is I want to have a top rail and bottom rail and then some slats that go this way. And I'm going to keep the joinery really simple. It's going to be mostly pocket screws that are rated for outdoor use. Also, as I was milling, before I said that this was all Western red cedar, but I'm noticing that the color of this cedar is quite a bit lighter. So this might be white cedar. I don't know a lot about cedar. So if you happen to know the answer to this, leave a comment down below and set me straight on that, will you? So I'm gonna do some more rough cutting. I'll get these to 2x2 and I need to resaw these into thinner boards. And I think I'm gonna split these down the middle and make the rails closer to 3 or 4 inches. So I got a bunch of rough cutting done, and now I'm prototyping a little bit. And here's what I think I'm gonna do. So I've got the legs cut at 1 3/4 inches, and I like the look of that. And I've got the top and bottom rails cut to 1 1/4 inches. And those are gonna be 2.5 inches wide. And I'll be left with a bit of a reveal right here where the legs meet the top and bottom rails. And I've sized this so that this plastic liner will drop right down in there with a little bit of room for a wiggle, so I won't have to force it in. And then I'll put some cleats and some planks on the bottom to support the bottom of this and leave some spaces for drainage for water. What I also want to do is route some grooves in the top and bottom rail to accept some slats that will run perpendicular. So I'm going to start cutting those grooves next. So I've got all the grooves cut in the top and bottom rails, and what I need to do next is cut some cleats that I'll glue and tack to the bottom rails to help support the bottom of the planter liner. Now I'm cutting some tapers with my bandsaw on the bottom of each leg. And I'll smooth away the saw marks with my block plane. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm using pocket screws to attach the upper and lower rails to all 4 of the legs for each planter. So I've got my pocket hole jig ready to go, and I had to run out and get some different screws because the rails are 1 1/4 inches thick, which I don't use very often, and they're blue because they're coated for outdoor use. We'll do 2 for each rail. So one thing I'm really an expert at is making mistakes. So here's what happened. These are the bottom rails, and I put those cleats on for the slats that are gonna hold the planter liner. The problem is, I should have waited, because now I can get 2 pocket holes in here. The problem is this one is sitting too close to the edge where that groove is for the slats. So I can get 1 in here and it won't be a problem. So I think I'll just do 1 here, and then I still need 1 more. So what I'll do is I'll just toe screw a screw through the bottom up through into the leg, and that should keep this from twisting and be plenty strong. So 1 in that end and 1 in the other. Okay, so remember before I said I didn't have enough room for 2 pocket screws on each of the bottom rails. So what I need to do is drill a hole on each end through the bottom at an angle so that I can toe screw these screws up through the bottom of the rails and into the meat of each of the legs. Here I'm cutting some 1/2-inch thick pieces for the slats that'll make up the sides of the planter. Now I'm nibbling away some material for some 1/4-inch deep rabbets on the ends of each slat. Okay, so making pretty good progress here. I finished cutting all the slats and making those rabbets in the ends. And those rabbets fit into the top and bottom rails in those 1/4-inch grooves that I had cut earlier in the video. And all that's left now is to cut some 3/4-inch thick planks for the bottom. Okay, so I've cut up some pieces of 3/4-inch cedar, and I just need to line the bottom. These rest on those cleats. And I just need to pop the liner in, and this project's done. And just in time, because tomorrow's the 4th of July, and I promised my wife I would get not 1 but 2 of these done in time. Hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give us the thumbs up. And I hope you'll consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and also ring the notification bell so you'll get alerts whenever I've got a new project posted. Happy 4th, everybody.